Yo, it is Danny Cage, and of course it's me because it's the Danny Cage Show. I just got done watching NXT. I did not have a chance to see it. I explained it in episode 4A of Wednesday Night Wars, so this is episode 4B of Wednesday Night Wars. I'm going to recap some of the going-ons in the NXT world from Wednesday night, and I will give some suggestions and some critiques, and I will actually compare and contrast NXT and AEW for this week. I think they both kicked ass. They both did a superb job. But there's one team that I give the slight edge to, and I noticed some panic buttons being pushed or talked about with the ratings going down, but that's to be expected and quite normal, to be honest with you. I think that stuff, I thought it would go up a little bit, but it is normal for ratings to go down after premieres and stuff like that. But there's some ways to improve that, and I think it's just getting started. These shows are just getting started, and they're on cable. They're not on regular television. So we will just dive right in on NXT. I loved the opening, the recap, all that stuff. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love going back and covering in 15, 20 seconds everything that happened the week prior, just so you're caught up, just so you're like, okay, maybe I got to go see that. Maybe I got to go to the network and check that out. Stuff like that. I think it's really cool. I love the look of the opening, the darkness. There's some people that don't like it. I love it. That's why we do it at the Monster Factory. We have for years. Sometimes some of our shows are lit up more, but usually we have everything's dark, some green lights here and there, and one light over top of the ring. It's just a more quaint feeling, more focused on what's happening in the ring, and I think that's pretty cool. Just think of it as like a movie theater. When you watch a movie, all the lights are out except the action on the screen. So I think that's the way I look at it, is all the lights are out and the action is what's right in that ring, which is this screen. That's your canvas right there. I thought the Leo versus Gulak match was superb. I loved the callback to the hot start attempt by Gulak, considering Oni almost caught Leo before. So it makes sense that Drew would be like, hey, I'm going to go for this too and try to get that win, because he was sleeping on this. You know, if someone falls to the overhand right, well, then you try to pull that out. And Leo almost got beat right in the beginning last time from a hot start. So that's what they did here. And, you know, Leo proved that he's a good wrestler and learns from his mistakes and wasn't sleeping on it and got out of the way. I thought it was really good. Great finish. The only thing I can say is, can we just, I understand like Rob Van Dam basically started it with the selling of the stomach from the frog splash and all that stuff. But I mean, I just think it's overdone. I think everybody is doing it. And I mean, like, when you do a leg drop, you don't sell your ass. You know, when you do a superplex, you know, you're not laying on the ground selling your back, you know. So, like, it's just one of those things where I just think, like, it's overdone. I think everybody's doing it now. And sure, there's times where it fits, but I just think it's overdone a little bit now. But great match by both of them. It's just a little cliche now with everybody selling their stomach every time they do that frog splash. I'd much rather see somebody hit the frog splash, hook that leg real quick, boom, boom, boom. Oh, man, got it. All right, because, yeah, fantastic match. I like the post-match feel to it with Regal coming in the ring to put the belt on, Drew drawing himself away, or drawing the belt away, putting it on, handshake, giving a couple words to William Regal, and then walking out. Thought that was really good. I like the locker room segment. I love locker room segments where they'll show the guys. It's like behind the scene type feel to it, like a real competition, like a real sport. With Walter and his crew there, and you know, him doing the Hindu push-ups and stuff like that. I really thought it was cool. And then we brought back the, you know, talking about Finn, drawing to Finn being back. I thought that was great. Like the way NXT utilizes their time is so smart. There's no fluff. There's no filler. It's like all go. It's just seamless production, top to bottom. Every segment goes to something else. Edited perfect, crossfades, everything like that. Everything makes sense. Perfect. Like the first half hour, an hour, perfect television. I loved it. And then we got to talk about Tegan Knox and all that stuff. It was good to go, okay, this girl's coming back from adversity, this, and this. Awesome. I love the girls' match. A great submission win. Ripley is badass. And I thought that submission was badass. And the call out was good. And now I want to see that match. And it didn't have to do a lot. It was, a couple minute match, and you got over her character. And I thought it was perfect for that segment. I liked the Forgotten Sons, one of our guys, Steve Cutler. I love the Forgotten Sons entrance to have Breezango out there and then have them just come down and basically, beat up the tag team that was supposed to have the match and step in. I thought that was pretty decent. I would have just maybe had Regal come out and be like, "You want a match? Fine, get down there," or something. Just to take the match is kind of weird. That's the only little nuance I would have added to it. But they're pressed for time and stuff like that. I don't even think they really had to do the beat them up. It would have just made sense to come out. But it's cool. You can suspend disbelief and just they beat the guys up, took their spot, and went down and kicked ass. I thought it was really good, really strong. I was messaging Cutler last night, and he, I was telling him I was proud of him, and he messaged me about, hey, I'm not here without you, but I just told him, hey, man, I just gave you the road. I taught you how to drive and showed you the road. You did all the driving, man. You did all the work. So good for him, and I'm very happy for him. And I just remember he had like 18 matches before he was signed to WWE. We brought in Jerry Briscoe to scout him and a couple other people, and he really took a liking to Cutler, and he went there in his tryout, and it was one of those deals where it was like really surreal, and that was somebody who at one point walked away from wrestling for a little bit, and he was going to go be a state trooper, and he got turned down, and he almost burned a bridge with me, and he came back and he did the right thing, and it's all worked out for the better, and he's getting to live his dream, and I couldn't be happier for him, and that's what wrestling's all about. So hats off to him and his partner and Blake and Riker and all that. I think they're great trio and a great tag team, and I got to talk to Riker for a couple minutes. I was down at the Performance Center while I was down there. I saw Riker more in the Performance Center than I saw Cutler's because he was around and running around and stuff, but it was really cool. It's like one of those surreal moments where you like see your kid on TV and you're so proud of him, so that was really cool. The Grimes match, it was what it was. It's quick, boom, boom, and that's what they're going for with him is like, kind of like a knockout artist without knocking people out, just catching people. And then Killian Dane came down to kind of like show he's pissed off. Which is kind of weird because like they did that with him, but then he didn't see anything with Riddle. So I was curious why no Riddle on the show. Another one of our guys, Damian Priest, he was training me with the Monster Factory back when I was training, and then he came back and he was training, and then he became one of our coaches for the last couple of years before he got signed to WWE, and he still comes back and helps out whenever he's in town. Damian Priest segment was awesome. People loved the Punishment Martinez and this, and this, but Damian Priest is more, like, I love how when people think they know, and they're like, oh, they should have let him do this, they should have let him do that. Damian Priest was his idea. Damian Priest is his. That is him. That is Damian Priest. Luis is Damian Priest. Damian, that's his character. That's how he is. He's he's living his best life right now, man. He's very happy. So I'm very happy to see the Damian Priest versus Dunn next week. Roddy versus Swerve. I mean, Jesus. So good. Uh, and, I mean, I just. I just thought it was so good. I thought it was good to have them come down uh, and not interfere so much as just to be a little bit of a distraction. I'm not for the baby faces making a blatant pause in action. I think what it should be all the time is the babyface never takes his eye off the action. They'll pretty much peer over, not turn their back completely, and kind of peripheral vision turn around and then get caught. And I thought the quick tap was good. It's best the quick tap ever. If somebody's beating me and gets me in anything, I am quick tapping. It's makes more sense. It's smarter. It puts over the hold, and you just got caught. I thought it was cool that they had Dream come out up on that balcony, perfect. And Dream was cutting that promo, and it was great and funny little segment. You had the comedy, and then you have Ciampa, who's like no comedy. Like, this guy's no nonsense. Thought it was great. I even thought the backstage segment with him knocking Angel out was good. Perfect, again. To go to Bel Air, it was what it was. It was nice little back and forth. And again, then we went to the Finn. I thought it was awesome. Again, covering him, coming back, stuff like that. Then they kept drawing you into the draft coming up, and then kind of foreshadowing a little bit, because it mentioned that, Finn was a number one pick in the draft from NXT. So you're like thinking, is there going to be somebody from NXT moved up? And then, me not knowing, because I don't talk to any of my kids about what's going on. I don't ask them any creative stuff, and you can ask them yourselves. I got friends that work for AEW. I don't ask them any creative. I got friends that work for WWE and students that work for WWE and NXT. I don't ask them any creative. I don't want to know. Even when we do shows, I will tell our students what the kind of finish I like and what kind of story to tell, and they'll come up to me with suggestions. I said, no, you've got to learn. Go out there, do your best, and I will critique it afterwards. I don't want to know. Surprise me. And this is how you learn to work. So when I'm saying this, I think it would be cool to see Riddle get drafted to Raw or SmackDown. It would make sense. Because why not have him on the show after what just happened? Unless you're going to bring him back next week. Who knows? But I'm just saying, I think it would be pretty badass if he got drafted. And, I'm just going by, hey, why not? And the foreshadowing would mention Finn Balor and all that stuff. Thought it was really cool. And then Dunn's promo was great. Showing him at the Performance Center and this and that, and how you're going to shoot the arrow with broken fingers. Perfect. It built it up without even having to have another confrontation. And he relates to him saying, like, I understand why you did this. There's linear stuff here. There's stuff that you can draw back on, and it tells a story, not just random, hey, we're just going to go fight. No, this is cool stuff. Walter Kushida, Jesus, man, this match. I can't even, it was just great. Even like the slip by Kushida on the top rope for the springboard, because it happens. Walter seamlessly, boom, just cut it down. He didn't panic. He didn't go, oh, this was supposed to happen, that was supposed to happen. Boom, chopped him right down with the boot, and it was vicious. And Kushida sold it the way he should. He should have just sold it and died like he did. I thought it was really good. The Kimura backflip off the top rope was sick. It was just a great match overall. I really liked it, and it had that big fight feel to it, and Walter taken to the limit. And plus, what it showed is his crew has faith in him, because at the moment when he had him in the hoverboard submission, I'm thinking they're going to come down. This is the only way he's getting out of this. And he took his time getting to the ropes. And that's why I had mentioned yesterday when it was Private Party versus the Bucks, it took too long to go, or he took too quick to go to the ropes, so it didn't have that drama to it. He sat there in the middle of the ring in the submission, and he worked his way over, and he worked his way over, and he worked his way over, and he tried to get out. And like even the point where the camera was perfect, Ricochet is trying to stop him, and it looks like he is biting his hand or trying to move his hand with his head. And it is telling that story that is a real struggle. And Beth picked up on it, and Mauro and Nigel and everybody just does such a great job. They're meshing so good. I just think I think they're the best on air right now, those three, top to bottom. In the beginning when Beth started, it was a little rough, but now she's getting her flow going, and I think it's really picking up, and they're really playing off each other, even having some fun with Breezango, and plugging Edge as like his favorite wrestler and stuff. I thought that was really cool, a good tie-in to keep them as, like when you listen to sportscasters, they will have fun. Madden and Summerall would go having back and forth and stuff like that and have fun. It's not just all about calling the action. You have to have fun and kind of like, hey, man, I'd love to sit down with this crew and just talk wrestling. And that's the feel that I think they're going for, and it works. Everything they're doing works. And, Nigel sometimes plays that heel, but he's kind of not really blatantly heel. I think all that stuff works. The Walter Kushida match was great. The ending was good. Everything was good. I gave the show an A+ as well, and I know you're going to be like, oh, you just gave AEW's, but it's for completely different reasons. AEW's got that, like, they're on different levels. They really are. Like, NXT, in my educated opinion, is far superior wrestling, top to bottom. Top to bottom, it just is. I think what's intriguing about AEW is the possibilities, and it's the spectacle of it all. Is got you, okay, all right, I can see where this has potential and where it can go. It's more comic book, and NXT is more old school, smoky roomed type old school wrestling matches with new school feeling to it. And the guys are much more polished at NXT. They just are, and the reason being is these guys are working with each other not only Wednesday but Thursday and Friday and Saturday and at the PC and wherever else they are. And they're rolling around and stuff like that. And then you have AEW, who has a show on Wednesday, and I think that's it. So I don't know if it means them getting more reps, if that means them hitting up some schools. I know a lot of the people are located around the Georgia area. If it means heading over to Marshall's school, the One Fall Power Factory, getting some matches in, or getting some reps in, or doing some appearances, or doing something. But you can just see NXT's guys are just much more polished. Of course, the vets in AEW are good, but I'm talking about the greener guys that need those reps, and you start to have chemistry. You start to have chemistry with your opponents, and I think that would be badass if they got some more reps. That's my only takeaway from that. Now, again, like with the ratings, it looked like, it showed that there was roughly a million for AEW and 700 and some thousand for NXT. But when you look at NXT when it first debuted, I think it got like 1.2 or 1.3 million, and then it slowly dipped down. Last week, I think it was at almost 900,000, and AEW is up at 1,400,000. So AEW looked like they dropped maybe 300, 400,000, and NXT dropped 100,000. Where'd all those people go? I don't know. Was it just people tuning in for the first time? Maybe. Is it people that were just busy? Maybe. Is there no reason for them to tune back in? Who knows? But you have to hook them. And I always say that you have to hook them once you get them in. So there has to be different things. And there's a lot of thing utilization that you can to get the ratings. And that's why, like, you know, people always laugh and give Vince crap about, like, oh, well, why'd you have this guy on, or why'd you have this guy on, and why'd you have this? Well, then why are you guys worrying about ratings? Because right now it seems everybody's worrying about ratings. But then when Vince is doing these things, no one goes, well, it's because of ratings. You know, all the smarks and everything are like, whatever. But now all of a sudden they're worried about ratings. So I don't get that. So, like, now that you see this business side of it, that's why Vince was bringing in, you know, somebody from this show and somebody from that, and a Drew Carey, and a Pete Rose, you know, and all these things, and a Donald Trump and all that stuff. It was about ratings. When the ratings go up, more revenue comes in, advertising goes up, stuff like that. People don't want to advertise with you if your ratings are going down. So there's some different things that you could do to get the ratings up. You know, USA and WWE have done it for years. It's synergy with the shows, whether it be Psych or something else like that. You know, get one of their stars over here, have one of their stars do something over there, have different people in the crowd, stuff like that. There's plenty of things to do. Especially with NXT, possibilities are endless. I mean, do you just look at, like, what Goldberg just said, how he basically said he doesn't worry about anything at anybody or anything at NXT. Now, granted, you might not want to do this because you could say, like, oh, no, we're supposed to be separate. But why not? Why not have fun? Don't limit yourself. Have fun. See where it goes. Like, I loved when Nexus came up and decimated the Raw roster and all that stuff. Because it made you have that uncomfortable feeling. I talk about all the time, like when Thanos just beat the damn out of Hulk. You're like, come on, man, get up. You're not supposed to be down. Come on, get up. Okay. And, you know, you're just like, oh, man, this is a force to be reckoned with. And that's what happened when, you know, they took out Cena, they took out Big Show, all that stuff. It was awesome. And I think you could do something like that with the Era or, you know, another group that you put together, or you could just have little people showing up here and there. Maybe have a couple guys from NXT do something during the draft, and a couple of the guys from Raw or SmackDown then come over to NXT and make some kind of surprise appearance and call somebody out. And so you're always wanting to tune in every week to see what's going on, what's going down. And, you know, you just got to make sure that your brand just stays the brand. You know, NXT is its own universe, Raw's its own universe, SmackDown's its own universe. But guess what? You can have these universes intertwine. And we see that, you know, when Iron Man started out, when Thor started out, when all these things started out. And next thing you know, it's Avengers Assemble. And that was on and popping. So I think you can definitely do that with something with Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. And same goes for AEW. You don't have that possibility, but guess what you had the possibility of doing? You have the possibility of hiring those hot free agents and having surprises and having people sitting in the crowd who might be scouting people, even though they're under contract and you just don't announce it. You've kayfabe that stuff, and they're like sitting in the audience and surprising. And is somebody calling somebody out? Is this going on? Plus, you got TNT there. There's a lot of great shows on TNT. You do stuff with that. The Bucks and all them with the being the elite. There's so many different things you can do with YouTube and all that stuff, but you have to have that same veracity for social media and YouTube that you have to do for getting them to watch your TV program. Because all the, you know, popping the boys and popping the smarks doesn't mean anything if no one's watching. And that's what I think they need to get down to over at AEW. And it's no time to panic. It'll pick up momentum. Soon it'll be that must-see TV where everybody was tuning in all the time. And I don't think it needs to be we take shots at NXT or WWE. I just think it needs to be put in more work and be different. And right now it's different than NXT, but I don't know if it's any different than Raw or SmackDown, to be honest with you. So, like, that's what I look for, is be different. See what works. I thought AEW's show the other night was the best show so far. It was only their second show, but everything flowed and things made sense. But at the same time, the ratings went down, so it's not time to push the panic button. You can't make people watch. You have to make them want to watch. So I'm very curious as to how next week picks up, if it continues the ratings to go down, or people are just going to realize that ratings really don't matter and it's all about the product out there and the hits and all that stuff. So we'll see. And that's it. I keep these nice and simple. I keep them under 30 minutes and out 25 minutes. I'm going to be doing a show on my way into training about mental health in pro wrestling. It was Mental Health Day yesterday, and I'm just going to basically do a show about mental health in pro wrestling. I might get emotional, I might not, I don't know. But those in pro wrestling, and I'll explain why, is it's so near and dear to them, because I think a lot of people who are in pro wrestling got drawn to pro wrestling for a number of reasons, but I think a number of those reasons was an escape from reality and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to get into that later, and I know I'm taking it down a little bit, but it's something I've been thinking about and stuff I have to deal with, and I've dealt with for the years I've been in pro wrestling, and having to deal with different students and stuff with problems. And I have my own problems of my own. We all battle with stuff, and we all have our ways of coping with it. Some turn to drugs, some turn to alcohol, some turn to violence, some do therapy, some meditate, some just, sit and talk on a radio show and coach kids. So we'll touch on that. I'm going to record that show in a little bit, and hopefully that'll be up later tonight. Feel free to comment on this, all that stuff. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I'm out of my mind, or I'm just stupid as hell, or I'm a genius. It's fine with me. I'm fine either way. Oh, also, it was cool. I got Google alerts for the wrestling school in my name, and a Google alert came up, and I don't know anything about the website, the Sportster or something like that. I think it's thesportster.com, and they were ranking the top 10 wrestling schools. And right away, because I've seen those lists before, and we're always like either not on it or just mentioned in passing, or it has all the wrong information. But it was pretty cool to be ranked number one, and ahead of some of the coolest schools around, and people I have a lot of respect for. So thank you, whoever wrote that. I didn't even really notice. I just saw it and read it just right before doing this show. So again, subscribe. We're on YouTube. We're on Podbean. The Danny Cage Show. Use hashtag The Danny Cage when you want to hit me up on Twitter. My Twitter is The Danny Cage. Facebook, The Danny Cage, and Instagram, Real Danny Cage. All right, everybody. Thank you. Love you. Bye.